Welcome to Imperfect in an Uncertain World, resources for living with authenticity and purpose. What is the key to living your best self? What would you say if I told you that you were the key? So let's talk about opening that door. What if you had the power to access all the answers within you and harness their power to create the way of your personal transformation? What would you do? Would you rise to the challenge of self discovery? Or would you say, tomorrow's soon enough, knowing that tomorrow may never come? Well, you do have the answers inside of you, but there's one big catch. You have to become the key that unlocks those answers. Now, seldom does that key unlock every door without a bit of jiggling and maybe a little bit of WD 40. And sometimes those doors don't stay open. Sometimes they slam shut and they're locked. And so we're going to have to use the key to open them again. Unlocking the door and keeping it opened takes practice. So I'm not aiming, or we're not going to aim for the practice that makes perfect. Rather, we practice in ways that create a permanent connection to our inner wisdom. Inner wisdom, intuition, for me, they're interchangeable. That is the key that we hold. Our ability to unlock those messages is strengthened by self compassion. Both self compassion and accessing our intuition are possible only through mindfulness and living contemplatively. So let's look at these four aspects to being the key that turns the lock on our door of transformation. So I'm going to break it down. So mindfulness is being in the moment. Be here now. It's noticing what's going on um, instead of being in the future or being somewhere in the past. Being contemplative is focusing our attention on the many ways that the extraordinary manifests in our life. So it's living within the extraordinary that is present in the phenomenal mundane. Self compassion manifests in conscious acts that alleviate suffering, that alleviate our personal suffering. And so that might be taking some time out for ourselves. It might be taking a long hot bath. It might be taking some time journaling. It might be going for a walk. Anything that we do that will alleviate our personal suffering, it could be talking to a friend, is self compassion. The fourth aspect, intuition, is our internal guidance system. That's that little voice inside of us that kind of nudges us to do certain things. These four combined aspects create a powerful synchronicity in our life. Through them, we sustain inner calm, where the bubbles of intuition float to the surface. And so we even notice the bubbles as they float to the surface. When we gain clarity to hear the message and act upon the message, that's what happens when these four aspects, when we're mindful, when we're living contemplatively, when we practice self compassion, and when we are intuitive, when those synchronize, that's when we have the power to unlock the door. So, what stops us from connecting to our life guide? I think that fatigue is our greatest foe. It is almost impossible to stay in the moment when we are exhausted. Through self compassion, we can engage in activities that re energize us. And we talked about those just a little bit ago. Energized, we return to our core. And at the core, we begin anew. So, refreshed, it's easier to slip back into the moment and stay there. Our senses come alive. We align with the extraordinary. And instead of being bombarded by the constant chaos, our attention is self focused. We notice what is going on in the world, but we choose not to react to it. We choose not to engage in it. So let's go back to self compassion. What act can you do? Whatever you choose, I'm going to say take a moment to acknowledge your suffering. It's be objective with the messiness you are experiencing it. Name it. Get into your heart and ask yourself, what am I feeling? And then use all five of your senses to describe how you're feeling it. Be in a place of no attachment where you're not getting hooked by the suffering. Be in a place of no judgment where you're not judging what is going on. Be in a place of no defending your right to feel the way you do, or your suffering is worse than everybody else's or is horrible. Don't get into that defending, and get into a place of no violence. So what we're going to do is we're just going to be in that moment. Acknowledge how you're being impacted by your messiness as it rolls over and over and over you again. Be gentle with yourself. That is the foundation of any self-compassionate act. Now, ask yourself, in that moment, what is the one thing that I can do to care for myself? Now, again, it could be going for a walk. It could be reading, journaling, creating art, taking a long bath, reaching out to a friend. Self-compassion is anything that alleviates even a bit of your exhaustion and gives you the strength to try one more time. Within moments of compassionate respite, you rest in the eye of the storm and begin to notice those bubbles of intuition, that they're rising to the surface of your consciousness, and as they pop, their message splatters all over you like this refreshing rainstorm. And those are particles of possibility. Message received and decoded, you act upon intuition's voice. And this is the cycle of increasing our intuition with self-compassion. And the more you listen, the more you recognize how you're depleted. And then the more that you practice self-compassion, the greater your energy to connect to your intuition. So it's not one is better than the other, one is more important. They both are necessary to work in tandem. Continuing this cycle of self-compassion and intuitive listening, the spiral of clarity tightens until you are consistently living contemplatively in the moment as a self-compassionate intuitive. So I want to thank you for listening. There are more resources available at vanessafhurst.com. If you need a little help connecting to your intuition and really learning how to be a little bit more self-compassionate, if you need somebody who is willing to be your accountability coach, give me a call because I say, or send me an email. I'd love to work with you because ready, set, manifest. Contact me for intuitive mentoring. Thank you so much. If you'd like this video, share it with your friends and enjoy the rest of your day. But remember, self-compassion and intuition are twined together.